have made some really good movies, and at least most people I know have heard or seen at least one of these movies. I have almost every Studio Ghibli movie that is made by Hayao Miyazaki. They are really, really good, and I picked out my two favorites of all of his movies. These are also, I think, the two first movies I saw that was made by him, but I still think they are the best, at least in my opinion. This title is in Swedish Det levande slottet, but in English the movie is called Howl's Moving Castle. So this is the Swedish title, but for some reason they didn't translate the title of the second one, The Spirited Away. Maybe because we didn't have a good translation in Swedish. I'm not sure. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about these movies, since I think if you haven't seen Studio Ghibli, I think you should watch one movie that is made by specifically Miyazaki, since he is a really good director, or I don't know his specific title, but he makes some great movies. And I know people can be or have a perception of like anime or manga that many people don't enjoy that kind of specific, what should you call it, like filmmaking or artistic style. And if you don't enjoy the artistic style, that's completely fine. But I know some people have a view on anime that it can be like weird or a little bit strange. And I watch a bit of anime outside having seen these movies, and it is fair that some animes are a little bit weird or strange if you're not used to watch anime. But the Studio Ghibli movies that are made by Miyazaki is something that fits everyone, I think. They are like, I would say, normal movies. They don't really have the like things you see in anime in the same way, except the art style, but you don't get some of the silly or weird interactions or happenings in these movies that you get in a lot of animes. So I often recommend these movies to everyone. They are often very good stories, and the movies are, in my opinion, very well made. I think there are often a lot of thought behind it, and the story impressively good. This movie, Howl's Living Castle, is based on a book I read, but only loosely, since the movie is quite different from the book. So I don't know. I think I took it as it was only loosely inspired then. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about what these movies are about. So, just to finish my point about the weird, that people may not like anime because it's weird, or they don't feel like anime fits them. I think this is if you're not interested in starting watching anime, it's completely understandable, but I think you should give these movies a try. I think they are on Netflix as well, so many people have Netflix now. So if you have it, give it a shot. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I think they are they are good stories, and it's not weird or strange or a lot of things you don't understand. It's just good stories, in my opinion. Okay, so now I can start about talking about these movies specifically, and I'm going to start with Howl's Moving Castle, and this was the first Miyazaki Ghibli movie that I saw. And I remember, I don't actually remember when or where I saw it, but I remember I was blown away by how well made and such a good story. The movie has such a good story. I think because I had seen some anime before that, but I would say it wasn't the same quality as this movie, so I was really impressed. And I recommended the movies to my family, and they enjoyed this movie as well. So we started collecting all the Miyazaki movies, since we started watching more and more of them and realized we liked them all. So this movie is about, I'm not gonna talk a lot of spoilers, but this movie is about a young, usual girl, a very normal girl, and she's called Sophie. She is working in a hat store where they make hats. She one day meets a young and quite handsome man, where they get chased by some strange beings. He escapes from these beings, and he leaves her in the middle of the city. She later, in the hat store, meets a woman, which turns decides to find another witch or wizard that can help her break her curse. And there is one famous wizard called Howl, which lives in a moving castle, Howl's Moving Castle, as the film title is, which is close to the city where she lives. So she starts to travel to his castle so he can help her break her curse. And there starts an epic adventure in her fighting to break her curse, and also getting to know this Howl. So yeah, it's a very it's really like an adventure. Some of the Miyazaki movies can be quite slow and very focused on relationships and personal growth. And this movie is, I would say all these movies are very much about personal growth. But some of them are maybe a little bit slower and are made to, I don't know, like appreciate the moments. And not all of the movies he made are like in a fantasy world like this. They can play out in, I think, modern Japan. One specifically he made that is in Japan is quite slow, but are like very focused on relationships and thoughts and dreams and personal growth. So, but this movie isn't so slow. It happens a lot and it's really an adventure. So in that sense, I think this movie is a good starting point as well, because it's more fun to watch a movie where stuff happens. Then you can start appreciating maybe the way they make the film, or how he creates his film. That was at least how it was for me. I got more after I watched this movie and thought it was great. I explored the other movies. So, I think I mentioned like the personal growth stuff and stuff like that. Personally, I think I really appreciate that. I think stuff like that are very interesting. How we very much can learn from life and stuff that happens to us. So I can really like appreciate movies and books that often have like, I don't know, something to learn from, like the personal growth kind of stuff. Since I think many experiences in life are important to take something away from them and learn from them. So in that sense, I really enjoyed these movies as well, since they really much focus on stuff like that. But let's go and talk a little bit about the next movie called Spirited Away. I think this has an Oscar, Best Animated Movie or something like that. And I remember I saw this movie I didn't watch it, but I have a strange memory of seeing this movie in World Guinness record book, or how it's called, I don't remember. But I remember seeing it there because it had a record, like a world record for something. If it was, it's not anymore, but if it was, how much it had cost to made or something like that. Oh well, I don't remember exactly. But this is also a very good movie. Very much an adventure as well. Like Howl's Moving Castle. I think this one can be a little bit, I don't know, I think it's like more emotionally hard to watch because the main character is a young kid that in the movie experience some like really challenging stuff, and I mean meet and yeah, meet people that are kind of mean, and she really has to fight for herself. And in that sense, I think the movie can be, you feel kind of bad for the girl that are experiencing all these things because she's just a kid. I can talk a little bit about the movie. What it is about. The main character is called Chihiro, and she's, as I said, a kid. She and her parents are moving, and she's not very happy about it. But on the way to their new house, they get lost, and suddenly sees a red building, a quite strange red building with like a long tunnel. They decide to go into this red building and meet, or at the end of the tunnel they come to like a festival area, or like a fair, maybe you can say that. It's completely empty, but they find a place where it has like an insane amount of food. The parents to Shiro starts gorging themselves, or starts eating of this food, but Shiro doesn't feel like it's right for her or them to just start eating food without asking. So she walks away and explores the area where the fair, and comes to a huge building. She kinda gets a bad feeling. Or no, that's wrong. She doesn't get a bad feeling. She actually meets a boy which tells her to get out of this place, that she shouldn't be there when it becomes night. So it tells her to run and get her parents and leave this place. She runs, but when she comes to the place where they are eating, they have transformed to pigs. So she can't leave them and decides to stay to find and help them becoming humans again. So, and that is like the beginning of the adventure of helping and exploring this world she enters. Because what you later realizing that gets explained is this fair and this large building I mentioned, or the big house, is a bathhouse, which spirits, like dead spirits, or not necessarily dead spirits, because in Japan and I'm not gonna say they are religious, but they have a religion, at least, where you see everything, or everything has a spirit, and all these kinds of spirit comes to this bathhouse and relaxes. So she has to work there and experience this side of like the world, not the real world, or it is kind of real, but the spirit's world, you might say. That might be why it's called Spirited Away. I'm not sure. I think Spirited Away is like something you say, and I'm not sure what it means in English. Like if it has a special meaning. This movie I saw a little bit later, and at the first I'm not sure I liked it as much as Howl's Moving Castle, but the more I watched it, the more it grew on me, because the movie has like a lot of double meanings, and as I mentioned before, the personal growth, all those are, the personal growth is very much in the center here, where we see the main character, Shiro, grow from maybe a little bit of a spoiled kid to a very tough or caring in a sense. At least she's not spoiled in the end in the movie, you know, it's kind of like that typical thing, how the spoiled kid gets a better view on the world and people around them. I kinda I'm not giving it a fair explanation, since I can't come up with the right word right now, but I think this one is very good because I like there are so many funny and interesting characters in this movie, and that is like enough to also make it very good. There are so many strange spirits, and the whole movie is so strange since the world is very much new. So yeah, I think that is a little bit about me talking about these movies. as I said, I really recommend you watching any of these movies, though I would recommend Howl's Moving Castle if you want to start with one of the movies, because I think the movie has a very good balance of like the adventure that can fit with a kid, but I also think it has the adult. You need to be like an adult to understand some of the emotional things. The emotional, like not drama, but relationships between the people. To like, so it can be quite complex. It's not like a kid movie necessarily. Spirited Away is also a movie where you need some like emotional understanding and yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy these movies a lot, so I like to talk about them, and I always want more people to see them because I really think most people enjoy them. I have talked with people that absolutely don't enjoy anime, but has enjoyed these movies, so I think everyone should give them a shot, because who doesn't like good movies? Yeah, I am gonna go back to bed. I'm tired since I'm filming at night, and I hope you're also lying down or relaxing at least, and that you got relaxed by this video. So I hope you sleep well, or at least got the relaxation you wanted from this video.